Hey coin lovers! Welcome back to Coins Numismatic Series. Every coin has a secret, and today's one might just make you rich. Today, we're diving into one of the most elegant and historically rich designs of the U.S. State Quarters program. Get ready to saddle up, because we're traveling to the heart of horse country, to the bluegrass state itself, Kentucky. This isn't just another quarter. The 2001 Kentucky State Quarter Dollar is a tribute to the spirit, history, and pride of the Commonwealth, minted with a D mark in Denver, and carrying stories that span centuries. The Kentucky State Quarter was released in 2001, the 15th coin issued in the legendary 50 State Quarters program, a program that ran from 1999 to 2008 and became one of the most successful coin series in U.S. mint history. It represents Kentucky's entry into the Union in 1792, and its design is packed with symbolism that beautifully captures the identity of the state. Now, let's start with the design itself. It's one of the most visually striking and detailed designs among all the state quarters. The reverse side, designed by T. James Farrell, depicts the famous Federal Hill Mansion, better known as My Old Kentucky Home. Behind its iron fence stands a majestic racehorse, head turned gracefully toward the viewer. Below the horse, the inscription reads, My Old Kentucky Home. Around the border, the inscriptions, Kentucky 1792, and 2001 E Pluribus Unum, complete the elegant composition. It's a coin that captures both Kentucky's equestrian heritage and its historical pride. But the story of this coin goes much deeper than just its design. Let's explore what each of these elements truly means. Federal Hill, the grand mansion featured in the design, is one of the most iconic landmarks in Kentucky. Built in 1795 by Judge John Rowan, this stately home near Bardstown became immortalized in American culture as the inspiration for the state song, My Old Kentucky Home, written by Stephen Foster in the mid-1800s. The song has since become synonymous with Kentucky pride, often sung at the Kentucky Derby as a symbol of tradition and unity. Featuring this mansion on the coin was a brilliant choice. It links the state's architecture, music, and cultural history in one timeless image. And then there's the horse, perhaps the most fitting symbol possible for Kentucky. The state is world famous for its thoroughbred horses, breeding farms, and, of course, the Kentucky Derby, often called the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. Horses have been an integral part of Kentucky's identity since the 18th century, when settlers discovered that the fertile limestone-rich soil of the bluegrass region produced some of the best grazing pastures in America. This natural advantage made Kentucky the perfect place for breeding and training racehorses. The horse on the quarter represents not just a hobby or industry, it represents Kentucky's global reputation as the horse capital of the world. Now, let's turn our attention to the minting details. The 2001 Kentucky Quarter was produced at the Denver Mint, and the D mint mark can be found just below Washington's neck on the obverse side of the coin. The obverse, of course, features the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, the same portrait used since 1932 for the Washington Quarter. The Kentucky Quarter, like all state quarters, weighs 5.67 grams and is composed of a copper nickel clad with a pure copper core, giving it that brilliant silvery luster collectors know and love. The Denver Mint produced an impressive number of these coins. Over 370 million were struck in 2001. But here's where things get interesting for collectors. Despite the high mintage, finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition can still be exciting. Coins graded MS 67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can command premium values, especially those with strong strikes, full details on the horse and mansion, and flawless luster. Even a small difference in condition can mean a big jump in value. That's the thrill of numismatics. While the 2001 D is the version struck in Denver, there's also a 2001 P minted in Philadelphia, and a special proof version struck in San Francisco for collectors, with mirror-like finishes and frosted designs. Proof versions, especially those struck in 90% silver, are highly prized in state quarter collections. The silver proof version has a more radiant appearance, with the horse and mansion gleaming against that deep, reflective background. Now, let's dig a little deeper into the history that the coin celebrates, Kentucky itself. The year 1792, prominently inscribed on the coin, marks Kentucky's admission as the 15th state in the Union. Before becoming a state, Kentucky was actually part of Virginia's territory. Settlers began moving westward through the Cumberland Gap in the 1700s, and by the time of statehood, it had grown into a thriving frontier region. The name, Kentucky, is believed to have come from an Iroquoian word, possibly meaning Meadowland or Land of Tomorrow, a poetic fit for a place known for its rolling hills and fertile pastures. The design selection process for the Kentucky quarter was a fascinating journey as well. The U.S. Mint invited states to submit design concepts that reflected their heritage. Kentucky received dozens of submissions from artists and citizens across the state. After public input and design review, the final design featuring Federal Hill and the horse was chosen, beating out other concepts that included symbols like Daniel Boone, bourbon barrels, and bluegrass instruments. The chosen design struck a perfect balance between Kentucky's historical and cultural legacy. Collectors often talk about how the Kentucky quarter represents not just the state, but the evolution of American coin art. T. James Farrell's engraving is a masterpiece of miniature sculpture. Every detail, from the horse's mane to the wrought iron fence, carries texture and dimension that's remarkable when you consider the tiny surface area of a quarter. When viewed under magnification, you can truly appreciate the craftsmanship that went into every line and curve. In circulation, many of these quarters have seen heavy wear, especially because they entered the market during a time when the state quarter program was at its peak popularity. Kids, families, and collectors across the nation were searching their change daily, hoping to find each new release. The Kentucky quarter quickly became a favorite among collectors because of its elegant and distinctly American imagery. Today, uncirculated rolls of 2001 Kentucky quarters remain collectible, and proof sets featuring this coin are must-haves for anyone completing a 50-state quarter collection. Now, let's talk value. While most circulated 2001 Kentucky quarters are worth their face value of 25 cents, pristine examples graded MS 68 or higher can fetch anywhere from $50 to several $100s depending on the market. Silver-proof versions, particularly those still sealed in U.S. Mint packaging, can command even more, especially with full original luster and no toning. Error coins are another exciting part of the story. Collectors have discovered examples with off-center strikes, die cracks, and partial collar errors, all of which make these quarters even more desirable. One known error variety shows extra metal flow on the horse's reins, giving it a slightly doubled look. These are rare, but they do exist and are worth watching for. Beyond its collector value, the Kentucky State Quarter holds emotional and historical significance. It captures a sense of place and pride, something that resonates not only with Kentuckians but with coin enthusiasts everywhere. It reminds us that every coin we handle has a story. It connects art, history, and everyday life. When you hold the 2001 Kentucky quarter in your hand, you're holding a small, shining piece of American identity, a reminder of craftsmanship, culture, and continuity. And perhaps that's the real magic of the State Quarter series. Each one celebrates not just geography, but spirit, the spirit of exploration, innovation, and state pride that defines the American story. Kentucky's coin, with its racehorse and stately home, stands as one of the finest examples of that ideal. So next time you come across a 2001 Kentucky State Quarter, take a moment to appreciate it. Look closely at the details, feel the texture, and think about the history embedded in its design. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting your numismatic journey, this coin reminds us that even something as small as a quarter can open a doorway into the grand story of America. If you enjoyed discovering hidden coin treasures, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the so you never miss a rare coin story again. Share your finds in the comments.